Let's talk about the top prospects to stash next on Fantasy Baseball Today Express. Welcome to FBT Express. I'm Chris Towers. I'm here with Scott White. And Scott, you've got some top prospects to stash. Let's hear about them, and let's start with, frankly, a name I don't think a lot of people are going to know. Colby Thomas of the Oakland Athletics. Sacramento Athletics. I did it on the full podcast, and now I did it here.
You did.
Unbelievable.
Just say Athletics, Chris. Or you could even say A's. You could shorten it that much.
I want to say Oakland.
You do. I understand. Colby Thomas is actually not in my 5 on the verge, but I wanted to talk about him because I feel like with the state of the A's outfield and with what he's doing at AAA right now, he would normally be in the 5 on the verge. It's just where it's been kind of a weird season that we keep seeing these very successful call-ups be sent back down. So we keep having to recycle them in the 5 on the verge. The latest example being Chandler Simpson. So Colby Thomas doesn't quite make the cut, but the A's have 2 openings in their outfield, basically, because they tried calling up Denzel Clark. He's done next to nothing. They sent JJ Bleday down, brought him back up, but it seems like they're losing patience with him. Meanwhile, Colby Thomas is hitting 470-foot homers at AAA. He did that once, but he's got a bunch of home runs. He has hit a ball as hard as 116 miles per hour. He had 31 homers in the minors last year, and
15 steals too.
That's true, yeah. And a great pull rate. So he hits the ball hard. He pulls it a lot. He has a swing geared for home runs. Now, he's not a perfect prospect. He has bad plate discipline. He strikes out between 25 and 30% of the time, basically for his entire minor league career. You could see him getting swallowed up by major league pitchers. But if he does get the call, if he does click as a hitter against major league pitching, the upside case for Colby Thomas, I think, would be like a speedier Chris Davis, to recall another athletic slugger. So
K Chris Davis.
Yeah, the one with the K, right. So yeah, I mean, that's reason enough to at least in deeper 5 outfielder leagues to give Colby Thomas a look.
All right, give us the 5 on the verge. And if you've been listening to this podcast or reading the column, a lot of the same names we've talked about for a while. We've been waiting for the top 2, basically since about whenever pitchers and catchers reported.
Right, they've been in there all year. Roman Anthony and Bubba Chandler are the top 2. Jack Caglione leapfrogged them last week, but he actually got the call. So it's Anthony and Chandler back at the top. Their situations seem to be getting worse, though. So at this time a week ago, there seemed to be a glimmer of hope with Christian Campbell potentially moving to first base and vacating second base, which in theory down the line could open the door for, say, Don Rafaela to move from center field to second base and create a spot for Anthony that way. Well, it seems like they've scrapped the plan to move Campbell to first base. So that's not happening anymore. No vacated second base, which means unless the Red Sox are going to give up on Trevor Story and stick Rafaela there at shortstop, Anthony's only ticket is waiting for somebody to get hurt. Or we've heard some Jarren Duran trade buzz lately. For that to happen, the Red Sox would have to be giving up on 2025, I feel like, and I don't think we're there yet. So that's probably not Anthony's quickest ticket to the majors, but it is an idea. It is one other possibility. Meanwhile, Bubba Chandler, Mike Burrows, who got called up ahead of him, finally had a good start on Wednesday. So I would imagine he will continue to get turns. And now that we're into June, I think the likeliest scenario is that the Pirates just wait till the end of the month so that Chandler can avoid Super 2 status. I mean, at this point, what's the rush? And to be completely fair to the Pirates, he has struggled with control recently. His last 6 starts, last 5 starts, just a 60% strike rate, which isn't very good. The walks have been up too, but his latest start was just 1 walk in 5 innings. And I would imagine they wouldn't wait much longer than 3 or 4 more turns down there in the minors. Logan Henderson is the third name on this list. He was one of the prospects who, one of the successful call-ups who's gotten sent back down twice, actually. It's been very frustrating. But I think his first turn back at AAA showed the main reason why, because they only let him go 3 innings in that start. There were 3 scoreless innings, but 3 innings, 57 pitches.
Trying to manage the workload.
Manage the workload, right? Because he barely exceeded 80 innings last year. So that's part of the reason why they had to send him down. Also, they keep getting pitchers back from the IL, though it seems like Brandon Woodruff, he's getting x-rays on his arm in his latest rehab start. So I don't know that he's going to be a roadblock. I don't know. We have to see how those x-rays go. But even without Woodruff, there's no opening for Henderson at the moment. Chandler Simpson, he's 4th on the list here. He did everything he could possibly do to stick around. It seemed like the Rays enjoyed having him. At least manager Kevin Cash did. He kept playing him. Liked that speed dynamic he brought to the lineup. 19 steals in 35 games.
Kind of felt like a Pena's not available, to quote Moneyball. They just the front office took it out of his hands because the front office didn't want him playing.
Yeah, that's kind of the impression I got too. And because Simpson played a ton, he did everything he was supposed to do. He's not a great defender for being so fast, and he obviously has 0 power, but those were known issues going in. And they called him up and played him a bunch anyway. Even like the roto effect, the roto utility for Simpson is obvious with the steals, but even in points leagues with that kind of steals pace, 2.89 points per game. That's very similar to what Wyatt Langford has done this year. So I could see Simpson. I could see stashing Simpson if it's at all possible. And then rounding out the 5 on the verge is Andrew Painter. But I'm wondering if I jumped the gun here because I delayed for so long in putting him on this list, knowing that he wouldn't be back until July-ish was how Dave Dombrowski put it. And so July-ish would include June, part of June, I would think, and we're in June. But now the latest is manager Rob Thompson says he doesn't think he's going to debut before the All-Star break.
Yeah.
So
that's like 6 more weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a long time to stash Painter. I don't know how long he's going to stay on this list, but at least for now, so I can talk about that, he's here.
All right, let's take a quick break, and we'll be back with 5 on the periphery. All right, welcome back to Fantasy Baseball Today Express. We've got 5 on the periphery for you, 5 prospects who are working their way into our attention spans. Kevin McGonigal, shortstop for the Tigers. Brady House, third baseman for the Washington Nationals. Josue Briseño, catcher for the Detroit Tigers. Takoa Roby, starting pitcher for the Cardinals. Zach Thornton, starting pitcher for the Mets. Scott, why don't you pick your 2 favorite, and then they can learn about the other 3 on CBSSports.com.
Okay, that works for me. Josue Briseño. I got to say it twice. Sorry.
I think I said it right.
Of the Tigers, a catcher, nominally, probably going to wind up at first base. And I know you hate to hear this, Chris, but he has the bat to play anywhere.
I hope so.
So he was the Arizona Fall League MVP / 433, 509, 867 there. That's really good. 10 homers in 25 games and has just kept it going during the minor league season, playing at high A, up to 13 homers now, including 6 in the past week, 3 in one game. His OPS there is 1048. He has exactly as many walks as strikeouts, 31 of both. Great exit velocities. He is a masher of the highest order, I think. And I think he deserves more love, and he should go up to AA soon because he's clearly too good for high A, which you could also say about his teammate Kevin McGonigal, who's on here. The other one I want to talk about is Zach Thornton, because I think he's the no name of this group. I always try to get one really obscure name in there. Zach Thornton of the Mets has a 0.7 whip this year. He's so obscure that neither Baseball America nor MLB Pipeline had him in the Mets top 30 coming into the season. And so it was really hard to find information about him. But I found scouting reports from when he was drafted in the 5th round 2 years ago, Zach Thornton. And they basically said deep arsenal, really good control, the kind of profile that you could understand Zach Thornton picking on lower level hitters. But that's not what's been happening here. He's at AA now. And in 6 AA starts, a 2.30 ERA, 0.77 whip, 9.2 K per 9. Just 5 walks over his 10 starts. This isn't just good control. It is top of the scales control, I feel like. And while the velocity doesn't blow you away for Thornton, he's from the same Grand Canyon University program that produced Jacob Wilson, who I feel like this is kind of the pitcher version of that. Like he doesn't light up radar guns, whether you're talking about exit velocity or just velocity, but he's just such a finished product that I could see Zach Thornton becoming a surprise contributor to the Mets rotation, maybe as soon as late this year.
Yeah, he's at AA right now, has a 2.30 ERA in his first 6 starts at that level. That is Zach Thornton for the Mets. And that's going to do it for Fantasy Baseball Today Express. We'll see you tomorrow.